We are going to hear from our mayoral candidates. The format will be very similar, with the exception since we only have 3 of you, you get maybe just a little bit more time. So for our first question, you'll get 3 minutes. For the middle 3 questions, you'll get 2 minutes. And then for the final question, you'll get 3 more minutes. You're welcome to use all of it. You cannot bank your minutes. So if you don't use them, you lose them. There's no rollover. We're not AT&T. All right? Just answer the question, and MJ will run the cards the same way. Do we need to go back over that, or are y'all good to go? The yellow is your warning card, and then red means zip it. All right? Do you guys have any questions before we begin? Okay. We are going to try to use the mic. There was people that said they couldn't hear very well. We did test it several times today, and it worked perfectly. So thank you, technology. And so we will do our best, but they promised me that if the mic goes off, they will talk as loudly as they can for you. Right, guys? Okay. All right, so let's begin. The first question, if you remember from the first forum, deals with experience and qualifications. So briefly describe your qualifications, skills, and or experience for the position of Mayor of Van Alstyne.
Okay, so, is it working? No. Okay, so I think the Mayor of Van Alstyne should have good leadership, but also be open-minded to take in ideas from everybody around, because if it's just one person doing what they want, it's never going to work. It also needs to be somebody who's honest, because nobody likes to be lied to. I feel that like the worst truth is better than the smallest lie. Also on top of that, like integrity, and they need to be like true to themselves and true to everybody else. Not really good at this whole political stuff with what you guys want to hear, so I'm just kind of going with what's on my mind. But yeah, and I think we need like new people to run the office, because this town is going to be new people coming in. As older people, they kind of go out. Somebody made a comment earlier about the town being a retirement town, industrial town, and couldn't remember the third. Somebody wants to remind me. College. Okay, so the college is the younger, retirement is older, obviously. So it's a mix of everybody, but the younger generation is what's taking over, and I think that's what we need to focus on, and have younger ideas come into play rather than older ones. Is there a minimum on this?
No.
No.
When you're finished, you can
Okay.
be
Yeah, I'm
finished.
just rambling on. So yeah.
Well, I'm Donnie J. Neal. I grew up here. I came back here 3 years ago specifically to take care of some aging relatives that I have, and believe it or not, run for mayor someday. So here we are. I'm a pastor. I've been pastoring Grayson County and this particular community individually for years now. If there's anyone in here that's ever called me and I didn't come running to your aid in the middle of the night, raise your hand now. No one. Okay, great. I'm a real estate investor. I have the heart of progressive growth and stability. I understand that it's going to take tax dollars, new tax dollars, to reach the goals that we have in growth for the future. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm like a rat in a maze, if you would. Just ask my beautiful wife, Darla, here. I wake up in the middle of the night trying to figure out ways to connect the deals, connect the dots, and what's better for everyone. I do this statewide. We are actually working on a project out in West Texas right now as well. As I said, I was born and raised here. In fact, not only was I born and raised here, but I'm the 5th generation son to Van Alstyne. My great-great-grandparents were founders of this town also, the Umpherses. Leadership skills, I have them. I've stumbled and I've picked myself back up, and I've gone back to the elders and those who are in the wisdom pool that I call on and say, how do I not stump my toe the next time? How do I gain from this? And how do we go forward? I love serving Van Alstyne. I want to be your next mayor. I have investment in here of a lifetime, 5 generations, and I want your heart. I don't just want your vote, I want your heart. My 2 main strong points are described by my personal Gallup strength coach. My number 1 gift is WOO, which stands, I'm looking to see if I'm getting that yellow card yet, which stands for winning others over. I love the challenge of meeting new people and making connections immediately. Strangers are rarely intimidating to me and are usually energizing to me. I want to learn their names and find areas of common interest so that I can strike up conversation and build a rapport. In my world, there are no strangers, only friends I haven't met yet. I'd make a good dog, wouldn't I? This strength enables me to interact with many people by naturally putting them at ease. This is a necessity when serving the needs of a public, as it makes people aware that I am approachable and genuinely care about the needs and opinions. My second strongest gift for my Gallup test is restorative, meaning I am adept at dealing with problems and love to solve them. Where some are dismayed when encountering issues, I embrace it and enjoy analyzing the symptoms to determine what is wrong. And that includes me too. What is wrong? Time? You didn't give me a yellow sign.
Green.
Hello, my name is Steve Riley. My wife and I opened a little business here about 4 years ago. You might have been familiar with it. In fact, I'm known because of that as Sweetie Pie's husband. I didn't have my own identity, and that's a badge that I wear with great honor. And speaking of badges, I actually wore one for 35 years. I was a police officer, retired as a police commander for the city of McKinney. Prior to that, I was worked at Dallas Sheriff's Office. But really, where I started in government services way back in, I don't want to really say the year, but I will, but it's 1976. I started out working for the city of Gainesville. I was a kid that they sent down into the gutters to clean bushes and brushes out. I was the kid that they used to paint the sidewalks. I was the kid they used to paint the signpost. I was that guy. I was the kid on the patch truck hauling hot asphalt and tar. So I understand about city service. I understand what jobs everybody goes through. Now, I may not know how to do every single thing that you do now, but I have a great understanding of all that. While I was at McKinney Police Department, I was commander over just about every bureau. I was an interim deputy chief. Part of my duties include budgeting, managing multi-million-dollar budgets, planning, hiring and training, and sometimes firing. So with all of those things said, I've had a great deal of experience all the way around. I've had some volunteer experience, and I'm really happy to talk about that. I just finished up as president, as Buckner Home Alumni Board president. I spent a number of years, actually I grew up at a children's home in Dallas. I went back and I became a member of the board, ultimately as past president. We raised money for the home, we raised money for the alumni, and we have a couple of great charities we contribute to. Shoes for Orphan Souls, and also there's some other charities within the home that we also gave money to. Also, for a number of years, I was involved in something called Angel Food Ministries, where we went and picked up groceries and distributed them to people. They bought a little box of groceries. I went to Sherman from our church in Trenton and Leonard and picked up groceries every Saturday for several years, and we boxed them up and distributed them to people. But one of the things that I've done lately, well, for the past 10 years, I've been involved with a group called Baptist Church Builders of Texas. So every year we go somewhere and we build a church somewhere inside the United States. That's been my calling, that's been my mission, and this is what I really, truly enjoy. And this June we'll be in Georgia building another church, or spending 10 days to 2 weeks there doing all we can. So I think when we talk about what are your qualifications or what do you do, I've had a little bit of experience not only in government service and serving people and volunteer service, but just the fact I've spent a great deal of time, a practical experience in my life doing the job. Thank you.
Are y'all ready? The next question deals with infrastructure. What is your vision for Van Alstyne as it relates to the impending growth? Discuss topics such as the roads, police, fire, city hall, and local job opportunities.
Me? Oh, great. Well, being from Grayson County, I have a good rapport with our county commissioners. I have them on, actually on speed dial. I can call them, they'll pick up the phone and answer me. The vision that I have for this town, again, you have my heart. I want to see our downtown area remain pure. I want to see us grow out and forward. They had a mayor in Sherman, Texas one time, and she said she wanted Sherman to be a bedroom community and everyone drive to Dallas to work. Well, guess what? My wife drives Woodrow Rogers every single day, and I'm tired of seeing all of our people from Grayson County have to go south of the border, south of the Collin County line. South of the Collin, if we're laughing, I'm not using my time, am I? South of the Collin County line to create jobs and to get paid well. I want to see businesses come here, but let's leave our downtown and those areas pure and unvioled. Let's grow. We've got plenty of room. Infrastructures, you're going to have tax dollars. Why put that burden on the people? Why not put it on bringing new businesses to town? When we get a pothole, we have to call our county commissioner and say, hey, sometimes we need some help. And that's okay, he's willing. But why have to call him all the time? We can get it done here. I remember back in the days when Mr. Day had a little crew, and I know we've grown, but he had a crew and they ran it in Van Alstyne. They'd build the potholes. He was always doing things, always busy. Let's create jobs. Let's hire good young people that can still get out there and learn the trade of taking care of our city in the future. Amen? Amen. That's the pastor coming out of here. I'm through.
Amen.
Amen.
Let's talk about roads for a second. On March 13th on the City Council, the commissioners presented a thoroughfare plan to the council. It was very important because not only did it talk about the roads that we need now, but the roads we're going to need in the future. And they were pretty aggressive with some of the things that they said. They said that by June they need to have this plan in place because they want to present that down to the state legislature in the coming 2019 session. So there are plans in place to improve some of the roadways, and one of the things that will help us is if we can get those text dollars in our community, that will free up some of our money to fix the roads we have. If you've been up and down Dallas Street, you'll know exactly what. If you went up and down Hobson Street up until a few months ago, you'll know exactly what we mean. So some of these things we can work out pretty easily with what. If we look at the thoroughfare plan put on by the commissioners and the engineer. Now, police, obviously a subject near and dear to my heart. Our police officers are paid about 23% less than their benchmark cities. I looked at the survey that was given to the city council. Chief Barnes, they were down near the bottom, and he listed the cities that they were comparing themselves to. And what I thought was really valid about his point is those are the cities that he's having to compete with for officers. So what I would suggest we think about is we pay our officers that we're going to have a midpoint in those benchmark cities, not trying to be at the very top or anything like that, but let's look at the midpoint and see if we can get our salaries up there. Now I know right now we have some budget problems that are a little bit tight, but we've had an officer shortage all year long. Let's see if it's possible to take those salary dollars and give them a one-time cost of living adjustment just for this year and kind of get them up, bump their pay up for this year.
Okay, so like everybody said, the pothole situation is getting a little out of hand in this town, especially with the recent rain. But like there's some roads before the rain came that they were awful, and they still are. I think most people might catch a DWI because they have to sort of run the potholes rather than just drive straight. So they probably get pulled over for that more than anything. The police, some of us here have history with the police, so I think they are kind of underpaid. And they focus on little things that don't matter, such as like somebody's car being parked like with the registration now, or somebody going off and doing donuts somewhere, rather than things that need to be taken care of, like drugs and other crimes like robberies. Not that I see many robberies, but I do know that there's a pretty big drug situation in this town, or at least there was when I was in school, and that wasn't too long ago for me. And then. Yeah, the fire department, no complaints there. They do an excellent job. And does the schooling fall under the infrastructure? I think Van Alstyne School is great, and it's a great place to bring your kids to graduate and grow up here. I graduated from Van Alstyne High in 2012. Dr. Brown was my principal when I graduated. we didn't quite see eye to eye, but he's a great principal. And you know, going to school, there was never worry about anybody coming in there, any trouble, nothing like that. Like you see, like in Florida recently, don't have to worry about that in Van Alstyne. I think it's nice. So yeah, that's it.
Okay, our next question deals with governance. Do you believe the city is being operated in the best manner possible? Please explain why or why not. And some things to focus on are fair employee compensation, the city manager, recent negative press, and the form of city government we currently use. Oh, no, I believe.
Yeah, you?
Yeah.
Well, we're a council manager form of government. I think it's probably the fairest, and really, this day and time, I think you have to have that professional manager in place to run a city. You are who runs the city. We are your representative, but the manager is that technical expertise that we just have to have. And I don't think a strong mayor form of government really works much anymore. I won't say that 100%, but the manager is exceedingly important because they have to have a technical expertise that most of us don't have. I think one of the things we need to consider, we've been without a manager for almost 5 months. We just had him come on board on March the 5th, and I think if I had one priority, I think we really need to get that set permanent. We understand he's on an interim basis. I think we need to look and move towards a permanent manager, whether it's Mr. Jones. You know, I've met him a few times.